Underneath the TikTok video of Chloe and me looking blissfully in love, a comment with an attached photo blew everything up. Damn, dude. Nice necklace you bought your wife's new boyfriend. In the photo, my wife, Chloe, was lying on the bed of an unfamiliar hotel room, her clothes half off, her eyes heavy-lidded and seductive. Around her neck was the very same anniversary necklace she had tearfully told me she'd lost just yesterday. Boom. My mind went blank. Blood rushed to my head, then froze in my veins. The phone slipped from my grasp, hitting the floor with a sharp crack. The screen shattered instantly, just like my heart. Honey, what's wrong? Chloe poked her head out of the kitchen, wearing an apron, her smile as sweet as it was when we first started dating. What was that noise? Like a puppet on a string, I stiffly bent down and picked up the phone. Beneath the spiderweb of cracks on the screen, the photo was a poison needle stuck deep in my eye. It was a clear shot, probably taken from a clever, hidden angle, but it was undeniably Chloe. I knew every inch of her body, recognized the tiny mole on her right shoulder. Nothing. It just slipped. My voice was as dry as sandpaper, each word scraping against my throat. Chloe walked over, wiping her hands on a towel, her eyes glancing toward my phone. I instinctively flipped it over, placing its screen down on the table. So secretive, she pouted, but a flicker of panic, almost imperceptible, flashed through her eyes. What is it that you can't even let your wife see? It's nothing. Just spam from work. My heart was pounding like a drum, threatening to explode from my chest. That necklace. Platinum with a custom diamond setting. $10,000. It took me 3 months of scrimping and saving to buy it for our 3rd wedding anniversary. She had sobbed when she received it, hugging me and saying it was the most precious gift of her life, vowing to never take it off. But just last night, she told me with red-rimmed eyes that she'd lost it. She cried inconsolably, and I held her all night, comforting her, my heart aching for her. And now, this lost necklace was appearing in a steamy photo of her with another man in a hotel room. Liam, you look awful. Are you exhausted? Chloe reached out with a cool hand and placed it on my burning forehead. Maybe we should skip filming tonight's video so you can get some rest? I looked into her clear, innocent eyes, which were filled with nothing but concern and love for me. If I hadn't seen that photo, I would have been completely fooled by this act, believing I was the happiest man in the world. We're filming. I practically squeezed the words from between my teeth, forcing a smile that was uglier than a grimace. We promised. We can't let our followers down. In front of the camera, Chloe wore the white sundress I loved most on her, her smile radiant. Hey everyone, today is my amazing husband's and my 3rd wedding anniversary. I stood beside her, trying my best to smile, play my part, but inside, my heart was being sawed apart by 1,000 dull knives, a mess of blood and mangled flesh. The comment section was a sea of couple goals, and you guys are so sweet. Only that one pinned comment, with its glaring photo, stood out like a giant, dark monument to my humiliation, grinding my dignity into the dirt. I clicked on the commenter's profile. It was a brand new account, completely blank. The intent was terrifyingly clear. It was created just for me to see. Liam? Liam. Chloe nudged me. What are you thinking about? We're done recording. I snapped back to reality, meeting her probing gaze. You're acting so strange today. Did something happen at work? You can tell me. I looked at her face, a perfect mask of concern, and a wave of nausea churned in my stomach. This performance. She deserved an Oscar for it. I'm going to the balcony for a smoke. I grabbed my phone and fled. I opened the picture again, forcing myself to analyze every pixel like a programmer debugging code. The room was a suite in a top-tier, 5-star hotel. Chloe's necklace glittered under the crystal chandelier. The photo only showed a man's arm, but on his wrist was a gleaming Rolex Submariner, the Hulk, worth at least $20,000. My 3-year marriage was a complete and utter joke. I worked my ass off to provide for us, to give her the best life I could. The house, the car, everything she owned. Wasn't it all earned with my blood and sweat? And this is how she repays me. Honey, dinner's ready. Come and eat. Chloe's voice called from the living room. I stubbed out my cigarette, took a deep breath, and put my good husband mask back on. On the table were all my favorite dishes. Chloe diligently served me rice, put food on my plate, and even carefully picked the bones out of my fish. Liam, why aren't you talking? Did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me? She asked cautiously, blinking her big, innocent eyes. No, you're perfect. I chewed mechanically, tasting nothing. You're so perfect, I thought, that you can moan under another man and then come home to enjoy the life I provide without a shred of guilt. Oh good, Chloe said, relieved. She immediately put on her sweet smile. By the way, honey, I'm meeting up with Jess and the girls to go shopping tomorrow night. I might be back late, so you don't have to wait up for me. Another get-together. I sneered internally, but said, okay, have fun. I will. You're the best, honey. She leaned over happily and kissed my cheek. Her soft lips felt like a red-hot branding iron, searing my very soul. After dinner, Chloe said she was going to take a shower. The second I heard the water running, I grabbed her phone. The passcode hadn't changed. It was still our anniversary. How ironic. My fingers trembled with a mixture of rage and anxiety as I opened her iMessage. A contact named Mr. Dalton immediately seized my attention. I opened the chat history. In that moment, my world completely fell apart. Mr. Dalton, babe, same place tonight? Chloe, stop it. My husband's home today. I told him I was having a girls' night. Mr. Dalton, has your loser husband figured it out yet? He's so dense. Chloe, him? He's just a clueless workaholic. He could drop dead in front of me, and he wouldn't even know why. If it wasn't for the house and the car, I wouldn't bother putting up with him. Mr. Dalton, he didn't suspect anything about the necklace I got you. Chloe, I cried all night and said I lost it. He bought it completely, even held me and comforted me for hours. He's such an idiot. It's not nearly as nice as the purse you got me, Julian. I love you so much. Mr. Dalton, you little minx. You miss me. Chloe, I'm dying. You have no idea how disgusting it is to look at his dead face every day. Just seeing him makes me want to throw up. I clutched the phone, my knuckles turning white from the force of my grip. My blood felt like it had turned to ice. The chat history went back 3 months. They had already planned out how to make me walk away with nothing after the divorce. This Mr. Dalton insulted me in every other message, calling me a sucker, a chump, a worthless loser. And my dear wife, Chloe, didn't just fail to defend me. She chimed in, using the most vicious language imaginable to describe the man she had shared a bed with for 3 years. So, the happy life I had worked so hard to build for her was, in her eyes, just a stepping stone she could discard at any time. So, all her tenderness and love toward me was just an act. The shower turned off. I quickly placed the phone back where it was, my face a calm mask, but my mind was a raging tempest. Chloe walked out wrapped in a towel, enveloped in a cloud of steam and the scent of her body wash, and glided toward me. The smell that once brought me comfort now reeked of betrayal. Honey, I'm heading to bed, she said, planting a goodnight kiss on my cheek. You should get some rest too. Don't work too late. I watched her walk into the bedroom. A bone-deep chill shot up from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. This woman, who was just sexting her lover, telling him how much she loved him, could moments later lie down next to me and smile sweetly without a care in the world. Chloe, Mr. Dalton, you think I'm some kind of idiot you can easily fool? Fine. I'll show you how this idiot is going to personally drag both of you down to hell. The next evening, just as planned, Chloe dressed up in a sexy little skirt I had never seen before and recited the same lines as yesterday. Honey, I'm leaving. I'm meeting Jess and the girls. Don't wait up. Where you guys going? I asked, feigning nonchalance. That new steakhouse downtown. Her answer was flawless. Let me give you a ride. No, she refused instantly. It's a girls' night. It would be awkward if you came along. All right, be safe. The moment she disappeared out the door, the warmth vanished from my face, replaced by an icy hatred. I immediately opened my laptop, my fingers flying across the keyboard. As a director of engineering for one of the country's top tech companies, if I wanted to find someone, they couldn't hide. I installed a simple tracking app. Chloe's phone was now a one-way mirror, a monitor just for me. Watching the red dot representing her on the map, it moved, just as I expected, straight toward the most luxurious Hilton in the city. Perfect. Next, I began to infiltrate Julian Dalton's personal network. Julian Dalton, 35, CEO of Dalton Investments, divorced. A cruel smile spread across my face as the data populated on my screen. This Dalton Investments was nothing but an illegal investment fraud platform, a Ponzi scheme disguised with the promise of high returns. And Dalton himself was facing multiple allegations of tax evasion. So, he was just a fraud wrapped in a fancy package. What was even more interesting was my discovery that Chloe, over the past 3 months, had been secretly transferring funds from our joint account, $500,000, into her own private account in small increments. That bitch. Just then, the microphone on Chloe's phone was automatically triggered, and a wave of obscene moans and conversation filled my ears. Julian, you're incredible. 100 times better than my worthless husband. You little vixen, of course I am. How could a loser like him compare to me? As soon as I close this next big deal, we'll make him walk away with nothing. Then you'll officially be Mrs. Dalton. Really? I'll be waiting for you. I put on my headphones, my face devoid of expression, and saved the audio file that would be their ruin, along with all the evidence of Julian Dalton's financial crimes. Chloe, Julian, your game is over. Now it's my turn. For the next few days, I acted as if nothing had happened, continuing to play the role of the devoted, loser husband. Chloe, perhaps sensing something was off, doubled down on her performance. Honey, we haven't seen a movie together in so long. Want to go tomorrow? Liam, do you like this dress? It's your favorite style. Honey, I feel like we've been a little distant lately. Do you not love me anymore? She even squeezed out a few crocodile tears, looking at me with a pitiful expression. Watching her ridiculous, frantic act, I could only find it laughable. While I played along with her charade of a loving couple, I was secretly setting up an inescapable trap. I anonymously sent detailed evidence of Dalton Investments' Ponzi scheme, along with the contact information for some of his victims, to the city's most prominent financial investigative journalist. Simultaneously, I compiled all the material on his tax evasion into an irrefutable report and mailed it to the IRS. After doing all that, I looked at the high-definition photos and videos of Chloe and Julian Dalton in their hotel bed and made a call. Detective Reynolds? It's Liam Miller. I need to report a crime. A week later, Chloe once again got all dressed up, claiming she was going to a friend's birthday party. I knew it was time to pull the net closed. I waited at home until 10 p.m., then drove directly to the Hilton. Good evening, sir. How can I help you? The front desk clerk asked politely. I'm looking for Chloe Miller in room 1208. I'm her husband. I showed him our marriage certificate on my phone. Her phone died, and there's a family emergency. After verifying my identity, the clerk gave me a key card. Standing outside room 1208, I could hear the disgusting sounds of their passion through the door. I didn't knock. I swiped the card. With a soft beep, the door unlocked. Inside, the sickening sight made the blood rush to my head. Chloe and Julian were tangled together in a deeply shameful position. Hearing the door open, they both turned their heads in terror. Chloe let out a piercing scream, frantically pulling at the sheets to cover herself. Julian was calmer. He simply frowned and sat up slowly. What are you doing here? Chloe's voice trembled with fear. Why can't I be here? I walked into the room step by step, locking the door behind me. My icy gaze felt like a razor blade scraping across their skin. I just came to see how my dear wife celebrates a birthday party with her friends. Liam, let me explain. It's not what you think. Chloe's face was as white as a sheet as she stammered. Oh, not what I think. I sneered, tossing my phone onto the bed in front of them. The screen was playing her sex tape on a loop. Then how do you explain this? That's enough. Julian finally spoke, a contemptuous smile on his face. Look, Miller, since you've seen it, we can drop the act. That's right. Chloe loves me, not a worthless loser like you. He stood up arrogantly, walked over to me, and poked me in the chest. A walking ATM like you doesn't deserve Chloe. If you know what's good for you, you'll sign the divorce papers and get out of our sight. I stared at his repulsive face, the rage inside me burning to its peak. Just then, a series of frantic knocks echoed from the door. Bang, bang, bang. Police. Open up. The color drained from Julian and Chloe's faces. I calmly stepped back and opened the door. Outside stood several uniformed police officers and reporters with cameras. Flashbulbs went off like crazy, perfectly capturing the two naked people on the bed. Julian Dalton, you're under arrest for investment fraud and tax evasion. You're coming with us. Ms. Chloe Miller, you're suspected of aiding in the transfer of illegal assets. You'll need to come in for questioning as well. Julian was completely stunned. He pointed a shaking finger at me and shrieked, You did this. I gave him a slight smile, my voice calm and light. Mr. Dalton, did you like the gift I sent you? Chloe, seeing the chaos unfold, finally broke down. She scrambled off the bed and collapsed at my feet, clinging to my leg. Liam, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Please, forgive me just this once. I'm begging you. She wept hysterically, her face a mess of tears and snot. I looked down at her, my eyes devoid of any warmth. Too late. I kicked her away like a piece of filthy trash. The moment you betrayed me, you should have known this day would come. The news of Julian Dalton's arrest was the top story in the city the next day. The amount of money involved in the Ponzi scheme was massive, with hundreds of victims. His life was effectively over, destined to be spent in prison. As for Chloe, while she wasn't prosecuted due to a lack of evidence, the explicit photos of her and Julian in the hotel room went viral overnight. She was fired from her job, her parents disowned her in a rage, and all her friends wanted nothing to do with her. Overnight, she went from being an envied trophy wife to a social pariah that everyone reviled. On the day we finalized the divorce, Chloe looked as withered as a dead flower. Liam, do you really have to be this cruel? she asked, her eyes red, making one last desperate attempt. 3 years of marriage. Don't you feel any nostalgia for what we had? Nostalgia. I laughed. Chloe, when I needed you most, were you feeling nostalgic while you were in another man's bed? When you were plotting with your lover to steal my assets, did you feel nostalgic then? I threw a document down in front of her. This is our prenup. We agreed that the party guilty of infidelity walks away with nothing. I never signed that, she shrieked. Your signature, in black and white. I looked at her coldly. Sign the divorce papers, and we can go our separate ways. Otherwise, I have no problem sending your more interesting videos to a much wider audience. Chloe shuddered violently. Finally, with a trembling hand, she signed her name on the divorce agreement, surrendering everything. As we walked out of the courthouse, she screamed at my back with hysterical hatred. Liam Miller, I hate you. I'll haunt you for the rest of your life. I didn't look back. Chloe, your hell is just beginning. In a month following the divorce, I made Chloe experience a living hell. I sent her explicit photos to all of her former colleagues, making her unemployable in her industry. I mailed the evidence of her affair to her relatives and old neighbors back in her hometown, ensuring she could never show her face there again. I even had someone casually leak her new address and job to the investors who had lost everything to Julian Dalton. Soon, her apartment and workplace were constantly besieged by people demanding money and screaming insults at her. She kept moving, kept changing jobs, but no matter where she hid, she was a shadow I firmly controlled. About 2 weeks later, she finally broke, running to my office building to confront me like a madwoman. Liam, what the hell do you want? You've already destroyed me. Isn't that enough? She screamed, her hair a mess, her body gaunt. She looked nothing like the vibrant woman she once was. No, I looked at her with indifference. This pain is not even a fraction of what you put me through. I'm begging you, just leave me alone. She dropped to her knees with a thud, right there on the busy sidewalk, and started bowing her head to me. I'll be your slave, I'll be your dog, just please stop torturing me. Her cries attracted a crowd of onlookers, all pointing their phones at her. Cheater begs husband on street soon became the new viral sensation. I shook her hand off me in disgust and walked away. Chloe, your repentance is worthless. A month later, I got a call from the hospital. Chloe had attempted suicide by taking a bottle of pills and was being treated. When I arrived, she was out of danger, lying weakly in a hospital bed. When she saw me, a flicker of light appeared in her dull eyes. Liam, I knew it. I knew you still had feelings for me. I looked at her face, swollen from the medication, and found it utterly ridiculous. Chloe, cut the crap. Your pathetic act is disgusting. I shattered her delusion without mercy. You think trying to kill yourself will win my sympathy? Make me forgive you? Keep dreaming. No, that's not it, she stammered, trying desperately to explain. Listen to me, I interrupted, leaning down and whispering in her ear so only she could hear. Whether you live or die means nothing to me. But as long as you are alive, I will make every single day of your life a misery, until you have paid the ultimate price for what you did. With that, I turned and walked out of the hospital room without a second glance. Behind me, I heard Chloe's despairing, blood-curdling scream. 6 months later, I heard that Chloe was dead. She had slit her wrists in a cheap rental apartment. They said when she was found, blood was everywhere, and her body was already cold and stiff. In her suicide note, the police found the most venomous curses directed at me. I was in a meeting with a new client when I got the news. I paused for a moment, then composed myself and continued the discussion with a smile, going over the details of the proposal. I felt nothing, not a single ripple in my heart. No satisfaction, no sadness, not even a sense of relief. It was as if I had just heard about the death of a complete stranger. Sometime later, news came from the prison. Julian Dalton had been killed during a fight with another inmate. I knew it wasn't an accident. I had arranged it. A con man who destroyed countless families, a piece of human garbage, didn't deserve to live. And with that, everyone who had betrayed and hurt me had received their due. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my office, warm and bright. I knew that my life could finally turn to a new page.